What if justice came with seats, a schedule, and a lesson in fear? You're in the right place. This is a guided look at 10 public rituals where suffering was a message as clear as a bell. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. We'll trace how leaders turned bodies into billboards, how faith and law worked together, and how some legends grew taller than history. You'll see how visible cruelty, on the ground, in the square, and behind doors, kept people in line. Watch to the end for the quiet pivot, when the show became the memory that still shapes us. Number 1. The Black Death Mass Graves. A trench opens at dawn. Not a funeral, a queue. Men shovel fast because fear moves faster and carts don't wait. The grave sits by the parish path and the road. That placement is part of the rule. Stacked bodies say the calendar is broken and law now speaks in shortcuts. Why show it? To turn ground into a signboard. Plague pits near churchyards and routes stayed open all day. Bells carried long notes. Short processions walked past with linens, then dumped and dusted lime. The open earth marked emergency law. Move only when told, gather only when called. Officials set curfews and blocked lanes. Watchers counted who crossed. Chronicles note clear sightlines from markets to pits, so passers-by saw the message without a herald. Public burial wasn't only disposal. It set one instruction: obey containment or join the trench. Doors close next. Number 2. Torture chambers of the Inquisition. A door shuts. The audience changes. Robes replace the crowd, and the stage is a ledger. Confession gets called mercy, but the tools tell another line. Secrecy worked as spectacle because each step ran like a script. Charges were read in a fixed order. Notaries sat close and wrote every answer. Pain arrived in measured beats. Strappado lifted joints without blood. Threat of the rack hung in the air as pre-show. The choreography mattered. Officials set limits on time, on water, on breaks between torques. Confession counted as proof when signed after the ropes were slack. Outside, antechambers displayed cords and pulleys like a quiet exhibit. Rumors walked faster than prisoners. People learned the shapes of fear without seeing the cell. The chamber's power wasn't the scream. It was the echo in the street, where rumor finished the work. Whispers turned into flames in squares. Number 3. Witch burnings and trials. A stage goes up, wood stacks high. The charge is unseen harm. The cure is very visible fire. Trials promise proof, but the ordeal plays to the square. Marks on skin, odd herbs, a bad harvest. Each becomes a cue, not evidence. When the verdict lives in public, the test is belief more than fact. An accusation starts the script. Officials read charges. Clergy frame the sin. Confession comes under strain, shaped into a neat arc. The crowd watches, answers with prayers, gasps, and silence. It runs like a civic play, with roles fixed and exits final. Not every region burned. Some hanged as law required, and some courts paused or doubted. Yet pamphlets and sermons carried the flame farther, turning one pyre into many minds. The lesson stuck. Step outside belief and you become the warning. From rarefied heresy to common crime, the seats stay filled. Number 4. Public executions as entertainment. The square fills early. Stalls set up near the scaffold. Families come as if for a calendar fair, then wait for the drum. If justice teaches, why the music, the speeches, the ritual last words? Because learning happens in a crowd. The march from cell to square is a lesson with steps. Officials read the crimes out loud. The condemned speaks, asks pardon, or claims resolve. Hanging days, swift beheadings, and breaking on the wheel each have cues, pauses, and a final cue to disperse. Authorities favor market days. A crowd is guaranteed. Public readings frame the viewing as duty, not thrill, so attendance feels like order in action. Vendors profit, but magistrates set the rhythm. The crowd isn't passive. Their eyes seal the outcome. Their murmur turns sentence into shared truth. Some, though, are removed before any drumbeat, kept apart as a different warning. Number 5. Leper colonies and isolation. A gate outside town, a bell on a belt. The rule is simple: be seen, but not here. Isolation hides people yet makes them a sign. The leprosarium sits beyond the ditch, with set paths and fixed hours, as if arranged like a museum exhibit to guide the gaze and the feet. Clothing marks the body. The bell clears space. Processions pass and pause. Those inside stand apart during feast days, held at the edge while blessings move on. Boundaries teach the healthy to fear and to conform. Church workers bring bread and rules. Care comes tied to confession, to prayers, to tests of obedience. Some are sent through a rite that mirrors a funeral, a symbolic burial for the living. Town law limits movement and trade. The perimeter is a line on the map and in the mind. When walls fail, leaders stage movement instead. Number 6, the Children's Crusade, a march of believers with small steps and big promises. Hope turns into a headline when feet move together and songs carry far. Whether legend or layered truth, the tale worked because it staged innocence in public. The question isn't how many walked, it's what the story did where ears were ready. Competing versions circulate. Some tell of a mass youth pilgrimage, others of a later myth that grew in the retelling. Sermons repeat the arc as a warning. Chronicles frame it like a cautionary epic, trimmed to clear lessons and tidy morals. Function beats fact here. Preachers and officials cite the tale to curb unsanctioned zeal. They point to approved campaigns, to leaders with seals, to routes with provisions, and say, follow orders, not a dream. The power sat in the chorus, not the count. When pain sells caution, medicine can join the bill. Number 7, medical cures, worse than the disease. A stool, a blade, a crowd at the edge of the booth. Healing turns into sideshow work, with cloth, bowls, and a steady hand. Bloodletting comes first. A cord tightens, a vein opens, and a cup fills while onlookers read the color like weather. Cautery follows for fevers and sores. Iron meets skin, smoke rises, and the lesson lands. Health needs heat, force, and will. Barber surgeons set up at fairs. They lance swellings, pull teeth, and hawk salves, part craft and part pitch. Orders from councils tie bodies to rules. Some towns require fumigation, street cleanings, and plague marks on doors. Physicians advise magistrates that sickness spreads like a public fire. So cuts, burns, and lancing gain civic weight. The cure teaches a second truth. The body belongs to order as much as to the patient. Some lessons skipped the healer and went straight for the nerve. Number 8, the rat torture method. A small cage, a quick fire, and a faster fear. The animal does the talking while the captive holds still. The method is blunt. A pot or cage sits on the belly. Heat drives the rat to seek escape. It claws towards soft tissue. Pain is outsourced to instinct, so threat feels larger than tools. Some say this belonged to the age we cover. Others tie it to later courts and wars. Either way, the image travels. Debate lingers on dates and use. Records show other regulated pains, but this trick appears more in tales and later claims. Yet rumor works like a poster. A guard needs only to mention it. A museum case with an iron box keeps the scene alive, and visitors supply the rest. As a threat, it didn't need to happen often. The mind did the rest. Threats to bodies bled into threats to belief. Number 9, execution of heretics and dissenters. A stake or a sword. A creed read aloud. A boundary drawn in flame or steel where belief meets rule. The charge is thought, but the proof lives in public. Officials stage penance first. Abjurations, kneelings, and set phrases that test the tongue. When accused refuse or recant twice, the court hands them to secular arms, and the square becomes the last page. Sentencing reads like choreography. Notices list errors, clergy repeat doctrine, and a notary records assent or defiance. The crowd serves as witness to orthodoxy, as if the square were a catechism lesson with fire for punctuation. Regions stage it differently, but the script holds. Display, assent, erasure. Some tools work before the scaffold. The heretic's fork, a double-pronged device fixed to throat and chest, keeps speech and sleep from coming, pressing confessions toward the ledger. Doctrine stays fixed because fear stands guard. For those offstage, the gaze lingers. Number 10, the plight of the serfs. No stage, just a field. But rules still drew eyes and set the pace of work. Rents, tithes, and labor dues were read out loud in open hall. Compliance happened in public, with neighbors listening as if the ledger were a drumbeat. A missed duty brought fines spoken for all to hear. So shame did part of the Lord's policing. Manorial courts met on benches or under a tree. Stewards listed defaults, tallied grain, and marked extra days of service. Collective punishments landed when one household failed and the village paid. Stocks stood near the path, tying idle hours to a wooden frame that taught by display. Feast days brought musters and oath-taking, turning work and loyalty into ritual. The eye of the community made a leash. Every field, every barn, every bell rang with that gaze. For the serf, the square never closed. The legacy is heavy. These displays show how people endured and how systems pressed bodies into rules. That history matters now because public rituals still teach and scripts still guide behavior. Ask what our own ceremonies say and who benefits when fear leads.